Thanksgiving is another one of those holidays that has largely changed only in tandem with technology rather than long practiced traditions. However, some places would have other interesting traditions on or just before Thanksgiving. New England had a tradition of holding a raffle for a goose or turkey the day before Thanksgiving, and New York had a very cool tradition of wearing masks and gathering in a huge merrymaking mass, which has morphed into the Thanksgiving Day parade. Even the tradition of watching the football game, be that a professional one or a local one, had its genesis in 1890. But I never was one for sports or parades I can only watch on TV. For me, it is and always will be traveling all the way back to my hometown, gathering with my relatives around several tables filled to the brim, eating copious amounts of ham and mashed potatoes, and catching up with everyone and discussing plans for Christmas. A 1900s Thanksgiving is only different in mode of transport, fashion, and a handful of menu items. Where my family usually meets is not and was not linked to the train station of my town. However, there was a train station in a neighboring town. So what I would have had to do is take a train the day before to meet up at a point and buggy pool with some relatives who were also traveling. Visiting my family would have been likely a multi-day affair, with me spending the night at one or more relatives' homes. I would have worn a nice suit, a far cry from the typical t-shirt and jeans, and just like I do today, would have brought a dish for everyone to enjoy. What this dish was, however, would have likely been different from the gluten-free dessert I plan on bringing this year. The whole meal was traditionally cooked in one household, as opposed to the potluck style that is common in modern Thanksgiving meals. This was because people who were traveling had to travel for longer amounts of times and in less convenient means. Your coconut cream pie or Dutch oven full of green beans would likely not survive the trip, at least not in edible condition. And in a time before refrigeration, anything perishable was a no-go. So if you did bring something, it was shelf-stable. What most people did was travel to the host's home early in the morning and help out. Back then, cooking was very time-consuming and took a lot more effort. Though it was typically the women's and other older children's jobs, all hands were welcome. Assembling, cooking, setting, and serving was a team effort for almost everyone. And those who were not involved in the meal were taking care of the kids not old enough to cook while also trying to enjoy some downtime. Me? Well, I was never one for babysitting, and I have always loved cooking, so I would have been right at home in the kitchen, probably happily engaging in the gossip happening there. After sweating in the kitchen all day, it would finally be time to set the table. Those who were on babysitting duty now hand over the children as they take their role in the feast. Once the table is set, dishes laid out, and turkey and ham are carved, everyone settles into their seats. As plates are passed down for some turkey and ham, the mashed potatoes and green beans make their way as well, and everyone would chatter together until my uncle whistles to get everyone's attention. All right, everyone, before we dig in, let's give thanks to the good Lord for this beautiful day. Grace would be said, and the feast would finally commence. Everyone would eat, laugh, gossip, and argue about local or world events, and after the meal, everyone would socialize some more and make arrangements for the next holiday meetup. And some would also have a football game in the backyard if they weren't too overstuffed. After a round of evening leftovers, it was finally time to make our final goodbyes. Warm smiles, parting wishes, and a hug for Grandma and Grandpa, and it would finally be time to get on our way home.